So today we are going to talk about the LOQ Ryzen 7 250 with the 5060. This is the main variant that we are going to talk about, and the main thing is should you buy this laptop or not. That is all that we are going to talk about. Now, video can be very long, so if you just go to the website, this is what I will be referring to throughout the video. Okay, so and it will have updated information. If there is something like a few things like I have put in caution, or here are the point that I need to find concrete answers to, these will be updated on the website, not in this video. So prefer the website. Okay, it's ad free, it's my own website, I don't put anything in. Anyways, one more thing, if you are watching in some other language, I have made this small thing. You can click on it and you can change it to any language that you want. That is actually supported by Google. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the LOQ 15 AHP10, or how is it called in other market as LOQ Gen 10. One last thing, if you are from India, there is already a different video. Okay, go watch that. So yeah, 250 5060, this is the laptop, and let's just completely just go inside it. Okay, general important thing that you have to know, that this laptop and a lot of the newer LOQ laptops have only two-sided vents. So why does it matter? So if you will look at the internal images, you will see that the vents only point to the one side. Okay, so the air is sucked in from the bottom of the plane, bottom of the laptop, and they are pushed this way. Okay, why does it matter? It matters if you are in a country where there is a lot of dust in the air. You know who you are. Okay, if you live in that country, it means that the dust will accumulate faster on these fans. Okay, and I think I saw it in this picture. So yeah, I know that's my basic point, that it will start to accumulate dust. Okay, and that's important to know, because it means you will have to clean the laptop regularly if you live in a country, or use it at a place where there is a lot of dust in the air. Okay, if you do not, it will not require that much, but expect to clean the fans every few months. You do not have to change the thermal paste, I will talk about that later. You do not have to change the thermal paste, but you will have to change the under these fan modules, beside the CPU and GPU, on the smaller component, there is a thermal how do you say, thermal pad, some kind of that things that gets dried up in about 1 to 2 years. So that will be needed to be changed in every 2 or 3 years. But the thermal paste on the CPU and GPU, that will not be needed, that will not require changing for the whole life of laptop, unless you deliberately remove the fan module. Okay, so yeah, that was the main important consideration. Second consideration is great CPU, general point, great CPU and GPU performance for the price. Okay, whichever market you are, whichever country you are buying it from, you will see that the CPU and GPU on this laptop, even at the base price, even if you buy it offline, is the one of the best value that you can get. There are budget laptops from other brands, they cut corners a lot. This laptop doesn't cut corners that much, which we will see in pros later. Even on the 144 hertz display, there is no compromise. It has advanced Optimus, it has G-Sync Mux, which is not part of the display, but yeah, it has advanced Optimus, it has G-Sync, it is 100% sRGB. So in short, 100% sRGB, color looks natural. Okay, it doesn't look washed out. Okay, with the advent of the phones, and they having very good color accurate screen, people have got used to 100% sRGB or more screen. Okay, so and it's good to know that even on the lower panel. So there are two panels, 44 hertz and 165 hertz. Even on the 144 hertz panel, the colors are pretty good. 245 watt charger. It might be bundled in your country, it might not be bundled in your country. Okay, you will see in many countries they will give you the 170 watt charger, and in other countries they will add the 245 watt charger. It doesn't really matter, even with the 5050 or the 5060. The CPU and GPU are both pretty efficient, so it won't really matter. We'll talk about this later. The iGPU on the laptop is the 780M. Okay, and this is if you just disable the laptop's own GPU, and if you just run on the AMD's own iGPU, it will give you a 2050 performance by itself. Why does it matter? It matters that on battery you might be able to get more battery, get more performance. Okay, although it's not recommended to run these laptops on battery at all for a long time, but let's say you had to, so you will get enough performance. The second thing it will help with is video decoding. So if you like live stream or something, you can use the iGPU on the CPU, so that's the 780M, to decode the videos while you use the 5060 to play your games. Okay, so it matters for streamers, it matters if you want to run the laptop on battery for a while. AMD CPU, so battery life should be longer than the Intel counterparts, but it is a gaming laptop, so don't expect a very long battery life. Last I checked, this CPU, the CPU this is best on 4 to 5 hours was normal, although in normal usage in college and all those stuff, programming and everything, it was 4 to 5 hours. The problem is in the recent reviews that there is actually very little review on this. There is only one review and they haven't been able to get that much battery life out of it. I'm talking about the 60 watt hour battery, the smaller battery. They have not been able to get it. As soon as I get more information out of it, more real data, I will add it somewhere around here. Okay, I will add it here. Now let's talk about the caution. So that was the general point. Let's talk about caution. So if you are considering this, there are a few things that you need to know. Here are a few things that I have to find concrete answers to. Okay, so once I will find them, I will update it on the site. But what do I have to confirm? I have to confirm the CPU's long-term wattage, how much it is, because it looks like it is lower than 80 watts, and that might be a very good thing, but until I have confirmed it, it will be here. Second thing, 5000 series Nvidia GPUs on the desktop side have a lot of driver graphics issue, RDP issues. You can check Steve's video on that. Steve from Gamer Nexus, he has made a lot of video on that, and the stability of the 5000 series Nvidia GPUs is in question due to this. Okay, so if you want to be absolutely certain, wait a few months after this video is live, wait a few months, check if the issue still exists on the laptop side or not, and how prevalent it is, and does it affect this laptop or not. Until you have not, if you want to be 100% safe, that's the way to go, to wait a few months. If you want to risk it, yeah, you can. However, I will update this line here when it's clear. There is a very good chance that it will be fixed, because if all the 5000 series CPUs have issues, who's going to buy them? So they will be fixed. But yeah, second, one more thing, PD charging. The laptop says that you can use PD small charger of 140 watt to charge the laptop. The problem is where is it? The problem is where is it? It should be in, I don't know, I'll just find it. This is easier. Yeah, what does it say? It says PD 65 to 100 watt charging. Okay, and it also supports protocol for 140 watt charging, but only Lenovo's own charging. Okay, so the point is there are Lenovo's own charger. Okay, there are Lenovo's own branded 140 watt chargers, even about 225 watt that was about to be released, 245 watt. Okay, so there are these chargers, but they are not available in all the market. They are mostly available in China. But point is that if you want to use a PD charger and you want to use more than 100 watts, you will have to buy the Lenovo's own charger or import it somehow. Okay, if you live in a country where AliExpress is available, I think you can get it pretty cheap. But the point is, you will have to use that. I actually made a video on this a few days ago. This is also an LOQ that I'm using right now, and I showed this that I was only able to use 100 watt charging with it while on the IGP. Go watch that video. Not the point. The main point is that if you intend to use why would you intend to use that? Because the bundled charger is very big. It's a brick. Okay, if it's the 245 watt charger, it's a brick. If it's 170 watt, it is still small. But yeah, these are huge chargers, more than half, almost a kg or something. No, I think 600 grams. Oh, let's just say it's a brick. Okay, that's all. Anyways, moving on. One more thing that I have to confirm. Oh yeah, battery. I already talked about it. Okay, now coming to important cautions. Okay, things that you should need to know. When you are getting this laptop, Lenovo offers accidental damage protection in most of the countries for 3 years for a cheaper price. Okay, if you just go to buy premium from Lenovo directly, it will be very expensive, not worth it. But in many countries, they offer a smaller plan. Sometimes they have a secondary site for that. You know what? I will this. I just I just found more work for myself. I will update. So I will put on my site. I will put on the Lenovo something. Where is it? I will put the countries where this is available for cheap. So this is for India. If you go on this site, you will get a very cheap ADP for 3 years. Okay, if you get it directly from Lenovo, they are very expensive. So when I confirm it, I will update this page depending on how many people comment actually. Anyways, moving on. So get that 3 years ADP. At the end of 3 years, you can pay a little bit more and you can get for 4 years. Getting that accidental damage protection frees you from anybody of user error. So it is a very common thing where the brand will try to just blame the user that they must have done something, that's why, because the laptop is dead or something. And that's very common in simple warranty plans. But if you have accidental damage protection, once a year you can claim it, and even if you have to, you can replace the whole laptop. But usually it's the motherboard for which I'm doing this. So yeah, if you're getting this laptop and you find the ADP for cheap, please get it. Second thing, I already talked about this earlier, but yeah, the lack of four-sided vents. So there are only two vents on the back, which means Lenovo, the fans suck in a lot of air, push out a lot of air. Basically, be ready to clean the laptop a lot more. Okay, every few months if you live in a dusty place, and otherwise, year or something. It depends on how dusty the fans get. You can just lift the laptop and see it visually. One more thing, when you do clean the laptop, just take out the back panel and clean the fan module there itself with brush or something. Do not open the fan module. Okay, and the reason for that is this laptop already comes with PTM installed. Once again, I will talk about them later. A lot of the LOQ, about 3%, so it is higher than normal, of the Intel HX laptops died, and this might be one of the reasons. So yeah, about 3% had died back then. But anyways, moving on. I think the main reason for dying was, I already covered this, the tweaking the fan curve thing. I already notified Lenovo about it. Hopefully they fix it in the next update. But yeah, AMD's didn't die that much. Now, laptop comes pre-applied with PTM. PTM is a very good thermal paste, and the main important thing about this is it has a long life. Okay, if it stays in your laptop, you do not have to change it for the whole lifetime of the laptop. Okay, so that's the important thing. On top of being very good, giving a very good thermal performance. The CPU and the GPU both have this PTM already installed, and it will not need replacing for a good 2 to 3 years, maybe even the complete life of the laptop. But if you live in a dusty place, clean the vents. That's why I said if you have to clean the vents, don't take the fan module out. You do not need to do that. I already talked about the PD thing. It says that it supports PD charging of up to 140 watt, but that's only with Lenovo's proprietary PD charger. And even with a normal 100 watt charger, you will see there are a lot of issues. Okay, it keeps disconnecting. You have to turn on the GPU. There is a lot of mess, and so don't buy the laptop thinking that you will lose the laptop's charger's weight by getting a lighter gallium nitride charger. So ignore that. Last very important thing, don't buy this laptop by checking the DLSS benchmarks. Okay, simple as that. Do not check the DLSS benchmarks. I have not written it here, but a few things. I think I actually wrote it here. I will copy paste it here later. It is the where is it? No, it's the same thing. All right, it's in my head. I will just tell you what it is. DLSS, you might need to turn it off for a lot of reasons. Okay, you might have to turn DLSS off for a lot of reason. First, very basic thing is that it looks horrible. Okay, so in practice, when you start using DLSS, it will look so horrible to you that we will turn it off. That is the major. Most people will turn it off like that. They will lower the resolution or the graphics setting to get a higher frame rate instead of doing that. Okay, it looks great when you watch it on online and everything, but when you get it in front of you, everything changes. So that's the first thing. Second thing, DLSS doesn't work on low frame rates. Okay, so it's not a saving grace. If you are getting very low FPS, you can't just turn DLSS on and you will get very high FPS like Nvidia advertises. That is false marketing. You already need to have very good FPS, 150 FPS, then it will be able to lift it up and give you a very high frame rate or something, fake frames. Okay, don't expect that you are getting 20-30 fps and you will suddenly get 60 real fps. Okay, not just a number, it should also feel like 60. So that is not going to happen. One more thing, input latency. Okay, now no, there is one more thing. There should be 4 point. So first was second was you need higher fps already. Second was that it looks terrible. Third was there was one more thing. I think it was 3. Anyways, I will write it here. The third important thing is motion sickness. Okay, I don't know if you ever got a motion sickness. Play any FPS game without the crosshair, and you will immediately understand what motion sickness is. But if you from gaming, so if you have never got motion sickness, turning DLSS will cause you to have motion sickness. Why? Because the frame rate is higher. Okay, so the frames are coming very fast, but your reactions are not getting registered that fast. Okay, DLSS 4 or something, like you get one real frame, you moved your mouse, it will take 5 more frames for it to move, but the refresh rate is high, the FPS are high, so it looks fluid in movement, but when you try to move everything, it feels sluggish. That's the word, it feels sluggish. And if you play for long time, 1 hour 2 hour, you might start getting motion sick. Okay, so There are good reasons to turn DLSS off, very good reasons to, these are just fake frames, there are very good reasons to turn DLSS off. Do not rely on DLSS results. That's it. So that was the question. Now we will go into the pros and cons and everything else. Okay, then that is very easily done. CPU gives consistent performance. Okay, the CPU give consistent performance, unlike a lot of the Intel CPU that you will find in this range. So let's take the a similar laptop 13450HX from LOQ. You can see the benchmark score. It just check the graph, no need to check the numbers. It starts at such a high place, okay, about here, and then it drops here. You see, it starts here, it drops here. So what happens in Intel laptops, for the initial, you know, first few seconds, they will push the CPU very much with a lot of power, so that in benchmarks that only test short-term performance, it will always win. But whenever there's a talk about long-term performance, as you can see, they drop in performance. And since it varies a lot from laptop to laptop, let's look at this MSI Katana with the 14650HX. Okay, if someone just sees the initial benchmark, you see it here, this is so much higher than this AMD. So this red line is this laptop 250. It is so much higher. But after just a few runs, first, second run, third run, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, look at this. So on that laptop's 14650HX, this AMD can beat it in long run. But if you just look at the initial short-term benchmarks that usually are shared online, you might fool into thinking that that's a better CPU, while when actually in long term this is better. Okay, the 260 CPU is about 10% faster, and the 350, here is the thing, this is a very common mistake. So I'm going to put all these videos, I think it's on my homepage actually. Yeah, here it is. I will put all these videos, these are very important videos for knowledge. So so that thumbnail again. So basically a same performance, a same CPU on different laptop can perform very differently. If you are looking into a review of a laptop, make sure a review of a CPU, make sure to check which laptop it is in. That matters a lot. Okay, so that was the first pro, major pro. So the CPU only drops about 4% in performance, while the Intel counterparts can drop 20-30%, even 40% in anything more than a few minutes. Okay, GPU stress test, GPU only hits up to 81 degrees. CPU stress test, CPU only hits up to 71 degrees. No GPU throttling in long-term tests. Two full size SSD slots. So the regular 2280, this ye big. So that's about 2280 from here to here. That's about 2280. This is the smaller size 22, and this is the 2242, and this is the 2280. So the 2280 are a very common SSD. You will find it in a lot of sizes, and it's cheaper. So it has the both slot. However, when you first buy the laptop, depending on where you live, you might actually get the smaller SSD. Okay, if you plan on upgrading both the SSD, remember to keep the original SSD with you. Do not resell it until the laptop's warranty is there. Okay, there are two RAM slots. One is populated, this is DDR5. okay, so it doesn't have that not as much extent that you need to match the exact 8 GB. It should be same dual channel thing. It's not here as much, it's more important. So the one is populated in a lot of the countries. Okay, this might be different. Okay, I didn't think about this. Now let me just quickly check. So 1 by 16, 1 by 16, 1 by 16, 1 by 16, 2 by 16, 1 by 16, 1 by 16, 2 by 16, 2 by 16, 1 by 16, 1 by 16, 1 by 24, 16. Oh, so it looks like Let's just download the Excel, that will be much quicker. Yeah, I should have downloaded this in the beginning. Yeah, RAM. Where is RAM? I saw it right now. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So yeah, so it's either the one slot is populated with 16 or a 24, or the both are populated with 16. This is a good configuration. Okay, don't just throw the 16 away at 2 in. No, you do not need to do that in DDR5. Okay, and it is more than likely that you will need another 16 GB RAM stick. Okay, this is AMD and Windows 11. They have become, AMD uses a lot of RAM for its iGPU. Windows has become bloated, so it is more than likely that you might need to buy another 16 gig stick instead of 218. Okay, we will look at that Excel sheet again. The 144 Hz display, it has 99% sRGB. Of course, the 165 Hz laptop comes with PTM thermal paste, so you will not need to change it. Yes, mux switch. So what does mux switch does? Gives you more performance when you are using the DGPU than a laptop without a mux switch. Second thing that it does is you can turn off the DGPU. Oh no, yeah, that was the main thing. That was the main thing of a mux switch. Also, there is hybrid mode, so that while on battery, you can just use the iGPU, and while not on battery, you can use the DGPU. So it becomes a very good thing. G-Sync. So if you are using it, if the FPS is a little lower or higher, there are some screen tearing, so the refresh rate will adjust. Advanced Optimus, so you do not need to restart your laptop to change between DGPU and iGPU. Okay, neutral and good thing. Keyboard is good. This is the laptop, and that's the keyboard, you see. So this is the generic Lenovo keyboard, so no complaints about that. No really complaints about that. It's a good keyboard, not as good as the ThinkPads, of course, but this is a good keyboard. Even the 144 Hz is 100% sRGB, no PWM, no headaches, low black levels, so good contrast ratio compared to other panels in the same price range. Display is matte finish, so no reflections. You can use it outdoors. Plenty of ports. System only uses 172 watt charger, so even the included, if in some countries where you only get 170 watt charger, it's not an issue. Mux switch, so you can disable the dedicated GPU for better battery or disable the iGPU for better performance. Neutral, something doesn't matter. It's LOQ, it is a plastic body, but it is a good plastic. Okay, it's not a flimsy plastic like the Asus stuff laptops or the MSI Katanas that have very thin laptops, thin plastic. No Thunderbolt given. This is a budget laptop, you really can't expect that. 144 Hz, the response time of the display is okay. It's not very good, not very bad. Okay, if possible, get the 165 Hz screen. Already talked about this. Great SSD speeds, but they vary a lot. Okay, you will see the SSD speeds varying a lot, so it is suggested that if possible, get a better SSD, something like the Samsung's 990. I will link my accessory sheet here. This is another important thing, but it only matters if you are in a place where you can get another laptop with a higher VRAM than this. Okay, so if you are in a country where there is some sort of AMD GPU laptop or Intel GPU laptop, or even older Nvidia laptops that have more than 8 gigs of VRAM, it is rare. It is very rare that it might happen, but it can happen. If you are in that place, try to go for the higher VRAM laptop, as long as you do not need CUDA. Okay, I have to link a lot of things here, I guess. As long as you do not need CUDA is very important for a lot of people. I will link that also. Okay, and the main reason is that 8 GB VRAM was already obsolete years ago. A lot of new games like the Indiana Jones games and many simply fail to run on this properly. Anyways, moving on. Neutral and bad, there is no this is wrong. So already there are ports on the back. Terrible webcam is just horrible. Charger weighs 600 grams or even more if it's the 230 charger. Touchpad is just barely usable, not for color accurate work, because you will need 100% DCI-P3 screen or a higher color screen. If you are going for that, go for the premium laptops like the Legions or something. It's a bug. I have already talked about it in here. But you will have to adjust the fan comes a bit. Cons, this AMD 250 CPU is a rebadged 8840U, which was a rebadged 7840U. So it's a very old CPU. Okay, it's a good CPU. There is no complaint, but you're not getting anything new. You're not getting any higher performance or anything. It's a good thing, anyways. Check the problem with. I already talked about this in detail about the two fan thing. Whole laptop body heats up 10 to 15 degrees higher than other gaming laptop. CPU GPU stays cool, but the extra heat is dissipated badly. Okay, so where you put your hand on the keyboards, in some places it might get very warm. The whole body gets 10 or 15 degrees higher, and the palm rest where you put your hand, it can get very hot to touch. These are very important consideration. Speakers are terrible. Wi-Fi speed, if it's a Realtek Wi-Fi card, it's terrible. Okay, and we have covered everything. Here are the benchmarks. If you want to know gaming benchmarks and everything, you can look at them at your own pace. And here is the display. This is what I talked about, the matte display, so it won't be reflective. You can use it outdoors. We already talked about this. That's the 2 RAM slots, and here is the first SSD. Where is the second SSD? Let's just, yeah, here is the you see this. So this is 2242 size, and this is the 22, sorry, this is 2242, this is 2280. So this is what comes pre-installed, but you can remove it and add a full 2280. There is also this nut that you can put here, and else they also give you a, already they give you a nut. Okay, why am I pointing this out? Because I remember having an Acer laptop and they did not provide a nut. I had to get it. Anyways, anything more? These are all the benchmarks, everything. So this is what I was talking about, that this area gets heated a lot. Even the backboard, these all get heated a lot, but the CPU GPU stays one. This is about the PTM 7958SP that is applied on this laptop. That's the CPU GPU. That's the tech specs. Is there anything else? I checked the BIOS updates recently. There is nothing alarming there that there was some horrible issue or something. And it's been very long. I should actually wrap up the video. Before wrapping this video up, let's look at what variants are available. Did you select the table or everything just stable? Give me 1 second. Yeah, let's look at everything. You can either get the 220 or 250 CPU. Get the 250 CPU. You can either get the 5050 or 5060. Try to get the 5060. RAM variant, we already talked about it. 2 RAM slots. About this, they say that 32 GB is the maximum capacity, but in reality I will link a video. See, I only have videos to share with you, so I will link a video about this also, where it says that you can only install it. Actually used to say on this laptop that I'm using that you can only install 16 gigs of RAM. A person installed 64 gigs. So yeah, it's their marketing tactic. They try to, as long as the CPU supports this extra RAM, it can very well in most laptops go up to 64 gigs. But before doing that, try to find a source online who has someone who has actually done it. Yeah, okay, here it is. I will share this copy link. There are going to be a lot of things in the video below. uh, what else? Storage, same thing. I have seen 2 TB being installed, but yeah, please confirm. Not with Lenovo, they will try to shut you down because they want you to buy a higher laptop. If you are in a place that you get the higher camera, if that's a customizable option, please get it. In some countries, which lucky countries are these that get the 80 watt hour battery? Which country is it? You lucky. India and Czechoslovakia. So, and moving on. So that was battery adapter. You really can't do anything about it. Both are fine. If the price difference between the display is not much, please get the higher resolution screen, not for gaming but for work. No touch screen, not this. 24. It is your choice. I say spend money on other things, CPU, GPU, and other things that matter before spending money on RGB and keyboard. Anything else? I don't see anything else. Of course, the comment section is for that if you find anything. Yeah, the laptop has not been launched, but it's already a top seller. So yeah, that's all. See you guys next time.